Carrie Underwood is set to perform at Donald Trump's inauguration. The country star will sing America the Beautiful at the President-elect's ceremony January 20.
But as she was about to begin, there appeared to be some technical difficulties. After she was introduced, there was a moment of silence before her music started playing, but then suddenly cut off.
Carrie Underwood is in the middle of a huge controversy, and it all started with what she did at Trump's inauguration. Fans were completely caught off guard as nobody expected this from her. Even her streaming numbers dropped drastically. Then came the real surprise. Mel Gibson made a statement about her, and how he reacted to the whole situation has left everyone stunned. So what exactly did Mel have to say about Carrie's actions? And is the backlash against her really justified? Why was Carrie at the inauguration? Before we get into everything that happened, let's start with the big question. What was Carrie Underwood even doing there? Carrie has been one of country music's biggest stars for years. She has won multiple awards, performed on the world's biggest stages, and built a career that is about her voice, not politics. But on January 20, 2025, she found herself at one of the most politically charged events of the year, Donald Trump's second inauguration. This was not just another concert or award show. It was a major political event filled with world leaders, business moguls, and public figures from every corner of society. And there was Carrie standing at the U.S. Capitol, set to perform America the Beautiful for a packed audience. Her reason for being there was just that she was invited. The inauguration team wanted a powerful, recognizable voice to deliver a patriotic moment, and she fit the bill. Before the event, she made it clear that her decision was not to make a statement, but to be a small part of the historic event. Still, the moment her name appeared on the performer list, reactions started rolling in. Some fans were proud, saying music should bring people together. Others were not so excited. Why is that? We will tell you in a moment. For now, let's see what happened that day. This inauguration was not just a simple swearing-in ceremony. Trump's return to the White House was treated like a 4-day production. And if there is one thing Trump knows, it is how to put on a show. The festivities started on January 18th, leading up to the big day. There was a Make America Great Again victory rally. The next day, January 19, was packed with formal gatherings, including a candlelight dinner, an Arlington National Cemetery ceremony, and private receptions. The actual inauguration ceremony took place on January 20, but thanks to freezing temperatures and strong winds, the event had to be moved indoors. So this became the first indoor inauguration since Ronald Reagan's in 1985. The swearing-in happened inside the U.S. Capitol Rotunda, making the atmosphere even more intense and exclusive. Instead of the usual grand outdoor parade, Trump's team moved the presidential parade to an indoor setting at the Capital One Arena, where select guests watched military performances, marching bands, and floats celebrating American resilience. And of course, it would not be a Trump event without grand celebrations. That night, 3 inaugural balls took place. First, it was the Liberty Ball, which was a formal event celebrating Trump's return to office, featuring high-profile guests and live performances. Next, it was the Commander-in-Chief Ball, which was a military-focused event honoring service members. And finally, the Starlight Ball, a flashier, celebrity-heavy gathering with entertainment planned specifically for Trump's social circle. Each ball had its own theme, performances, and guest lists, making sure that no matter what part of the Trump world you were in, there was a party waiting for you. But the question is, why was Carrie chosen? Carrie was one of the biggest stars on the performance lineup. She was set to sing America the Beautiful, which is a song deeply tied to American pride and unity. Her presence was meant to add a powerful, emotional touch to the ceremony. Her performance was supposed to be flawless, a moment of pure patriotic music. But as the world now knows, it did not go exactly as planned. Before we show you what shocking thing happened that day, you have got to know who else was present that day to witness this surprising incident. If we talk about political figures, the popular faces that appeared that day were Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who stuck to tradition despite obvious tension. This was a great gesture from their side. Other than them, Barack Obama, George W. Bush, and Bill Clinton were present, but skipped the post-inauguration luncheon. It is likely they wanted to avoid any more awkward encounters. Former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy was also present at the party, but the biggest surprises came from the business world. The VIP section was filled with top tech leaders, including Elon Musk, who is a major Trump supporter and is now involved in a government initiative. Then Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg, who was making an effort to stay on Trump's good side after years of political maneuvering. Tim Cook, Sundar Pichai, and Sam Altman were also present there. And then came the unexpected guests. Social media influencers. Trump had actively courted the internet crowd, and it showed. Among the familiar faces were Jake and Logan Paul, the YouTube boxing brothers, who have turned their massive online following into real-world influence, then Theo Von and Bryce Hall, a comedian and a TikTok star, proving that Trump was involving younger audiences in his event, who were all aligned with Trump in some way. And then there was Amber Rose. No one really knew why she was there, and people are still asking. By now, you must have realized that Carrie was not the only performer lined up for the event. Lee Greenwood was also present, who is best known for God Bless the USA, a song practically made for Trump rallies. Then we saw Christopher Macchio and The Village. Beyond the official performances, the inaugural balls featured even more musical acts, and side events included everything from country stars to rappers. Even Turning Point USA held its own party. And of course, because this is 2025, there was a crypto ball because no major event is complete without one. Amid all of this, Carrie's role was supposed to be simple. Step on stage, deliver a stunning performance, and move on. But instead, it became one of the most unforgettable moments of the night, for better or worse. So what really happened that day? The unexpected moment. Carrie Underwood stood on stage ready to deliver a soaring rendition of America the Beautiful at Donald Trump's second inauguration. The moment was supposed to be flawless. The audience was waiting and the cameras were rolling. But just as the music began, disaster struck. The audio cut out. For a few seconds, there was nothing but silence. There was no backing track, no orchestral accompaniment, just Carrie standing there in front of world leaders, political leaders, and a packed room expecting perfection. The delay was long enough to make the audience shift uncomfortably, some whispering, others glancing around to see if someone would step in to fix the issue. But Carrie did not freeze. She did not panic. Instead, she did what true professionals do. She adapted. With a quick smile, she took control of the moment. Without hesitation, she turned to the audience and said this. And just like that, the entire energy of the room shifted. The Armed Forces Chorus and the United States Naval Academy Glee Club, who were positioned behind her, immediately joined in. Their voices blended with hers, turning what could have been a career-defining embarrassment into something raw, powerful, and completely unexpected. At first, the crowd hesitated, but within seconds, people started singing along. The room filled with voices as Carrie belted out the lyrics with no instruments, no safety net, just her voice and the support of those around her. Even those who had been skeptical of her presence at the event had to admit this was a moment of pure professionalism. No one expected her to handle the situation this well. The reactions were mixed. On stage, Trump nodded in approval. Vice President J.D. Vance was also there, who watched with an expression that could have been admiration or just surprise at how the moment had played out. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who were standing behind her, were caught off guard by the unexpected hiccup. But as the song went on, Biden was seen leaning slightly forward, nodding along to the impromptu performance. Kamala remained composed, offering only a small smile. For the former presidents in attendance, there was little visible reaction. Perhaps they were taking in the moment, or maybe they were just waiting for it to be over. The internet, of course, had a field day. Within minutes, clips of Carrie's a cappella moment flooded social media. So what was the general reaction? How did the public take this impromptu performance? Backlash and the dropping numbers. Carrie Underwood's performance at Donald Trump's 2025 inauguration should have been just another moment in her long and successful career. She has sung at countless high-profile events, won numerous awards, and built a reputation as one of country music's biggest stars. But this time, things were different. The moment her name was announced as part of the lineup, the reaction was instant, and not in a good way. Apparently, people were furious. Her fans had always known her as a country music icon who mostly stayed out of politics. But agreeing to sing at this particular inauguration changed that perception overnight. The internet was quick to respond, and the backlash was relentless. Many believed her participation meant she was endorsing Trump, whether she intended to or not. Some longtime supporters felt disappointed, saying they could not separate the music from what they saw as a political statement. Others immediately called for a boycott, deleted her songs from their playlists, and vowed never to support her music again. Social media turned into a battlefield. Some defended her, saying a singer should be able to perform without being dragged into political debates. Others were not buying it. They argued that performing at such a divisive event was not just about music, it was about taking a side. Hashtags started trending, calling for people to stop supporting her. Comments flooded her social media pages, even on unrelated posts, turning everything into a debate about her decision. And then something unusual happened. According to Luminate, the data company that tracks music industry analytics, Carrie's streaming numbers dropped after the inauguration. On January 20, the day of the event, her music was streamed 1.46 million times, which might still sound like a lot, but it was a 6% drop from the 1.55 million streams she had the previous Monday. A drop like this might not seem massive at first glance, but in the music industry, it is unusual. Inauguration performances typically give artists a boost, whether positive or negative. Controversy usually translates to increased engagement. But for Carrie, it had the opposite effect. Fans were not just upset, they were tuning her out. And it was not just streaming. While there was a slight increase in digital downloads, neither Carrie nor the other performers saw more than 1,000 downloads that day, which is a surprisingly low number given the scale of the event. For an artist who has spent years at the top of the country music charts, this was new territory. Carrie had never been in the middle of a political firestorm like this before, and it was clear that part of her audience was walking away. And just when it seemed like the backlash could not get any bigger, another unexpected debate took over: her outfit. While the focus should have been on her performance, people online were more interested in what she wore. For an event like this, performers usually wear high-end designer pieces, especially given the level of media attention. But Carrie showed up in a simple gray midi dress from Opito Modes, which is a lesser-known Italian brand. The dress cost $300, which compared to the tens of thousands that many celebrities spend on red carpet looks, was shockingly affordable. She paired it with ivory leather heels from Inges, which had been discounted to $272. Some fashion insiders speculated that no major designer wanted to dress her for the event, either because they didn't want to be associated with Trump's inauguration or because of the controversy surrounding her appearance. This quickly turned into another online debate. Some fans praised her for keeping it simple, arguing that fashion should not matter in a moment like this. Others, however, saw it as a symbol of how politically charged the event had become. If even designers were distancing themselves, what did that say about her decision to perform? Another shocking aspect is that Carrie was not the only artist facing backlash. Rapper Nelly also performed at one of the inaugural events, and his decision sparked a similar reaction. He had been invited to perform at one of the evening inaugural balls, an event that was meant to be more celebratory than the formal swearing-in ceremony. But as soon as it became public knowledge, the response was almost identical to what Carrie experienced. His fans accused him of aligning with Trump, and his music streams also took a hit. In the past, music and politics did not always overlap so directly, but times have changed. Every public move an artist makes is now scrutinized in a political context. Some argue that artists should be able to perform without their presence being seen as a political endorsement. Others say that in today's world, especially with how divided things have become, every decision carries weight. Carrie Underwood likely thought she was simply doing her job, and that she was simply singing a patriotic song at an important national event. But the reality was much more complicated. She had unknowingly stepped into a controversy that would not fade away quickly. The internet does not forget, and public perception is hard to change once it has been set. While everyone was bashing her on the internet, came another sound that was too famous to ignore. It was Mel Gibson, and he was ready to give his opinion about the whole situation. Mel Gibson's unexpected statement. Carrie had faced a wave of criticism the moment her participation in the inauguration was announced. Fans were divided, with some standing by her and others feeling disappointed or even betrayed. Her decision to perform was widely debated, with accusations that she had aligned herself with Trump's policies, even though she never publicly made any political statements. The controversy was growing, and just when it seemed like it had reached its peak, Mel Gibson entered the conversation. Responding to a fan in the comments, Carrie wrote, "I know I did my best, and that's all you can do in this life." Had a huge amount of support from loved ones, and even random support from people I admire, like Mel Gibson, who left a lovely note. "I am grateful." For many, this defense seemed out of place. Gibson is not known for standing up for other celebrities. He is quite the opposite. Throughout his career, he has been involved in numerous feuds, made blunt and often offensive remarks about others, and been at the center of major scandals. His history of controversy stretches back decades, making his sudden support for Carrie all the more surprising. Over the years, he has made brutal, unfiltered comments about fellow actors, filmmakers, and even entire groups of people. His most infamous scandals include his anti-Semitic remarks during a 2006 DUI arrest, where he blamed Jewish people for all the wars in the world. This incident damaged his career severely, leading to years of public and industry backlash. He later apologized, calling his behavior inexcusable, but the damage was already done. His history also includes recorded phone calls in which he made racist and misogynistic comments, which further alienated him from Hollywood. Many thought his career was over, but he slowly made a comeback. He directed and starred in films while maintaining a lower public profile. Still, his reputation remained deeply complicated. Given this past, his sudden involvement in Carrie's controversy felt unusual. He had often criticized others, but now he was defending a country music star facing backlash for singing at a political event. His statement fueled discussions about his intentions. People started wondering if he genuinely supported her or if there was something else behind it. Some speculated that his endorsement was strategic. With Trump's return to office, the political climate had shifted, and many in Hollywood were reassessing their positions. Gibson had long been on the outskirts of the industry due to his past remarks, but in recent years, he had been rebuilding his image. Publicly backing Carrie could have been an attempt to align himself with a new wave of conservative voices in entertainment. Others believed he was simply speaking his mind, as he has always done, regardless of the consequences. Whether people agreed with him or not, he had a history of saying what he thought without concern for backlash. Supporting Carrie in the face of intense criticism may have been, in his view, a way of standing against what he saw as unnecessary political interference in entertainment. Carrie herself did not respond directly to Gibson's comments, but she did acknowledge the overall controversy surrounding her performance. She maintained that her decision to sing at the inauguration was not about politics, but about honoring her country. She reiterated that she was a performer, not a politician, and that her role was simply to sing a patriotic song at an important national event. When asked about the backlash, she kept her response measured. She thanked those who supported her and expressed gratitude for the opportunity to perform. However, she did not engage in any political discussions, nor did she address the specific criticisms against her. Her approach was to remain professional and avoid escalating the situation further. As for Gibson's support, Carrie made sure to talk about it on her social media. While some might have expected her to distance herself from him, she took a more neutral stance. She acknowledged the support she had received from various people, but specifically singled him out in her statement. The situation also highlighted a broader issue in entertainment: how much an artist's decisions offstage affect their career. In an era where everything is politicized, even a simple performance can be seen as taking a side. Carrie, who had largely stayed away from political conversations throughout her career, found herself at the center of a national debate simply for doing what she does best: singing. Gibson's involvement only made things more complicated. While some of his supporters saw his defense of Carrie as a moment of honesty, others questioned whether his words helped or hurt her. Given his history, his endorsement carried weight, but it also came with baggage. Some felt that having Gibson in her corner was not necessarily a good thing, considering his controversial past. His defense of Carrie Underwood was also surprising because of how rarely he publicly supports other celebrities. Whether his words were helpful or not remains a matter of debate, but one thing is clear: his involvement made an already controversial moment even more talked about. For Carrie, this entire experience was a reminder of how difficult it is to separate art from politics in today's world. She had taken the stage to sing a patriotic song, but the reaction proved that in the current climate, nothing is ever just about the music. Whether or not she intended to make a statement, the world decided that she had. And no matter how she handled it, there would always be those who saw her decision in a way she never intended. Now tell us, what's your opinion? Do you think Carrie Underwood was just doing her job as an artist? Or do you believe performing at the inauguration was a political statement? Tell us your opinion in the comments below. And if you love keeping up with the biggest controversies and unexpected drama in entertainment, don't forget to subscribe for more.